Hello, hello, hello. Stint 6 is up and ready to go. Stay there with Correntis for now because obviously he's still got drivers going. But we'll bring up the transition screen and we'll get cracking very soon. I'm going to jump in with him in a minute.
Vortex, and here is Andy is in the chat. Hello. It's been well good. I've not actually messed anything up yet, which is surprising. Oof. Bob's, your uncle has spun at the mountain. Is he able to get it going? That's allowed Powers to get past into 9th position for Black Flag.
Nice move there. The question is whether Bob can get himself back up and back involved. He's still facing the wrong direction. You can't park that there, mate. Oh! Whoa!
He's got going, and there's a 4-second gap to Bob Powers. Got 10 or 11. I don't know. Laps until they come in. Yeah, that gap 4.5 seconds as Bob has got heavy damage to the front and rear of that Corvette. Will he dart into the pits to repair that? Blue Racer 7, 5.9 seconds behind.
I think the problem is it's too close now with 10 laps remaining. Are you going to lose more than 25 seconds with the damage? I think the math has to be done this lap. So he either comes in, takes the risk, loses the position now, or do you hold on in your position and hope you might keep it? It's a double. You'll definitely lose it if you go in. You might lose it. You might not get it back if you stay out.
Blue Racer, he's coming in. Yeah, Blue Racer's gaining like second. The race asylum, third race asylum car in Stint going up into 10th position, started in 12th. A fantastic drive from Blue Race for the race asylum team.
What do you mean I sound weird but more than usual, TJ, you prick? Screw you, man. Screw you. I did have the mic a little bit further away from my mouth. Plus, I have been talking all day. My fucking throat hurts, you bitch.
Alright.
Just waiting for them to get started here.
Gonna look. UK and Powers for like the entire first hour, wheel to wheel the entire time. It was absolutely incredible to watch. Powers spun at the mountain. Not been able to get that pace back. You've been shot up into. Got a 1 minute 13-second lead for the Vortex over Black Flag car.
That's a good drive from Upe to pull that gap open. How far ahead is Nick out in front?
Nick is it's not actually like 1 minute 39 up front. He's just he had I think he crashed once. Had a little bit of damage, but even then his pace dropped to like 202s, and it's just been 2 minute flat 201s the entire time. No one's been anywhere near him the entire time. ORT is still in second position, 10.5 seconds ahead of first Sector 7 car, driven by Slipstream.
Oh, it might be actually. Have a look over there. Under the table. While you're building something.
Okay. Fourth position is Mullet, Can't remember team. I think it's Syndicate he's racing for. In fourth position, 17 seconds behind the Sector 7 car of Slipstream. First race assigned car, or second actually, is Dens, with a very, very large gap. It's around about 2 minutes, the gap between fourth and fifth. And then 7 seconds, Den and I think it's Wild Moves, his team, Mr. SPS. In second, second Sector 7 car of Aero in 7th position, 14.1 seconds behind Mr. SPS. Then there's quite a big gap between him and UK, about 2.5 minutes, I'd say, over a lap between 7th and 8th, 1 minute 14 between UK and Powers, 6.8 seconds between Powers and Boy Racer, who is shaving off about 2 seconds a lap. 2-3 seconds a lap. Boy Racer shaving off Powers. Is he going to be able to climb his way up into 9th position, propel his teammate the better start for the next 8 laps till he has to come in? They come in on lap 60, right?
Lap 60, yeah.
Lap 60, alright. 9. Can't.
Yeah. Not 59, Newton, and not 61, Tyler.
Good evening, by the way. Exactly 60 it is, yeah.
Good evening, my brother from another mother. How are you?
Relaxed again.
Yeah, me too, man. Me too. Looking forward to this.
Yeah.
There's going to be a few complaints when we start that the screen looks very bright, but I'm trying something. I read somewhere that if you mess around with the gamma correction when the race gets dark, you can see the cars better when it does get dark. So I'm going to see it could go horribly wrong,
Yours is
and I might have to change
yours
again.
is well bright and mine's too dark. We get
Yes, that's what, so
anything
I've brightened mine up on purpose so that when the light does go, it will
You can
automatically.
see the cars, 'cause
Yeah.
if you're not in the pit lane for these, you can see like see the brakes and the lights. That is it.
Yeah, it's not it's not great. It's places like Daytona, it's all right because it's really well lit.
I was on about that. I was on about that earlier. Like,
But with Bathurst, because it's in the middle of the countryside, in the middle of nowhere, they don't really have any lights up, so it does get quite dark. Le Mans is quite dingy as well in places.
Okay, that gap between Boy Racer and Powers, 5.7 gap, 5.7 seconds on lap 52. In a couple laps, VRA Nick is on lap 6. He is going to be coming in pit relatively soon. Handover period being mentioned. 5.5 seconds separating Powers and Blue Racer 7. Go on board with him for a couple laps. What car is that? Is that McLaren? I can't really see because I can just see lights. So I'm assuming it's McLaren, driven by the sign. We'll have a look. Once you go past the pit lane, because that's where the only light are on the track. You can, yes, it is a McLaren. Actually see the car. It's for a grand total of about 10 seconds. You can see the car from the entire lap.
Pretty much the only view you can do on tracks like this is from inside the car, unless this gamma thing works. Then if this gamma thing works, then we do that from now on.
Yeah. It's either going to work or look absolutely horrendous.
But it's easily fixable. I think I can just go into the just jump out of the lobby, change the settings, and come back in again.
Don't do that, please. Jump out of lobby, then you won't be having access to the replay feature.
That's a very good point. I won't do that unless it looks awful, and then I'll make a judgment. But I've read a few places that it works. I've just never tried it. I should probably have experimented first, but
Yeah, it might have helped.
no, I like to. You know me. I like to wing it, man.
27 stints you were doing today.
Yeah, I like to wing it.
Yeah, I think you can adjust it in Streamlabs a little bit. I saw that you can brighten
You require
the
brain
signal.
cells to do that, but
Yeah, to be fair, I could probably do it through my Elgato capture card as well if I needed to. But
Yeah.
I'm going to try this one first and see if it works. But we're on with Evo because Evo will be the first one out, won't he?
that gap between Blue Racer and Powers down 3.07 seconds now. Surely is gonna pass him on either the next lap. But yeah, 2:01.5 that last lap for Blue Racer, compared to a 2:03.1 Powers was the last lap of the race. So Powers has seen Blue Racer in his mirrors and put his foot down, hoping to stay ahead. But you've got an A+ driver behind you. You've got sort of that like menacing feeling about it. See them creeping up closer and closer and closer. Yeah, going through Hell's Corner. He's gained a second on Powers. Surely either this lap or next one. Thinking probably this lap. Yeah. Gonna go through. They were like going for moves on the mountain section earlier. Powers in UK. The first hour of this didn't look at anyone other than them two. Basically,
If you go where the action is, I've just seen Tankbro in the chat there. He's going to do 58s every lap. I'm going to say to you, Tankbro, what I said during qualifying yesterday. If you do a 158, I will webcam one of my nipples and stick it in the corner of the broadcast. I'm not going to shave it. I'll put some cream on it and maybe brush the hairs growing out of the actual nipple, but I will put it on webcam and stick it up in the top corner because it's not going to happen.
we need to save that for our OnlyFans. We're paying. People are paying to see that. We're not putting that out for free.
Definitely, there's a market for everything.
If I find out there's a market for putting my nipples on the internet.
If you remember the Daytona 24, it was also Tank Pro who was like, yeah, I'm getting P1 easily. So on the final stint. So remember, he is driving for AHR. AHR is P11 at the moment, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, it's not gone well for him in the second half. The first
9 minutes. Yeah, okay. Challenge accepted.
At one stage they were leading this race. AHR, and it's just they've just started tanking.
Powers, going for a move into Hell's Corner, I think, or is it slipstream past on the straight? He's close enough to think about a move. 3 tenths behind. Not quite able to make it stick. Powers with a little slide. So does Blue Racer. Synchronized sliding, both of them controlling it well. Blue Racer going for the move on the back straight. Slipstreams past. Powers on the inside, brakes later, able to defend the position. Wonderful racing from these two, going into the mountain section, a wheel to wheel. Blue Racer going around the outside. Powers managing to defend it. Incredible defending from Powers here as we go into the mountain section. Both of them just graze the wall slightly going. I've already lost count of the corner. I don't know any of the corner names here. I'm absolutely useless at this. I know a couple, but most of them I would probably be in the wall here anyway, so I can't be bothered to learn any of them.
Well, you might as well learn the name. If you're going to spend time there, you might as well learn what it's called. If you're going to be picking bits of your car out of it.
This one, Blue Hell, I call it, because I'm always in this bloody wall. Blue Racer placing the car wheel to wheel on the back straight. Powers versus Blue Racer. Blue Racer is ahead. Powers is going to back off slightly, let Blue Racer ahead. That has promoted Race Asylum to 9th position. have a look up front. What lap Nick is on lap 60. He is going to be coming into pit lap.
We are in the handover period now. The 141 lead. Your only driver on lap 6 at the moment. Going let's enter the mountain sector. Absolutely fantastic drive this stint, from Nick, showing everyone how it's done. Not only being by far the fastest driver on track, but setting that pace consistently as well, showing it done. Far behind 13 minutes 13, so handover period is going to be quite a while, but we're going to be able to get sorted. So ORT Kings has pulled away from Sector 7 slipstream slightly. Your close on track. We've got a nice battle here between Racer Silent Den and Mr. SBS, but both of them quite low on fuel, but they've got 2.5 laps to go until they enter the pit. We've got a nice battle for P5 here. Mr. SBS, yes, our first driver is in the pit. Nick is in the pit, so respective driver will be coming out in stint 6. But there's still plenty of action left for the remainder of stint 5 as Race Silent Dens and SBS round the final corner to start lap 59 of 61.
Yep, and we're on the way.
We are underway. That is Evo out and on the track, ready to doodly do it. It's a little bit better with the brightness, but it's still not brilliant. But it's better than it was.
Can you vaguely make out what car it is?
Well, I know what car it is because it's Evo. I'm gonna have a play with something else and see if I can improve it.
Yeah, Tank Pro, just 4 laps, easy peasy.
Yeah, there we go. I've made it a bit brighter. It does look a little bit off, but that seems to work a little bit better.
Kings is going through the final game. It's going to be coming in.
There we go. We can see the car's a bit better there. So I just need to mess with more than one setting essentially to so everyone can see it.
That is ORT Kings into the pit lane. 1 minute 43 behind ERA 88. 0% fuel. Pushed that to absolute limits. 14 seconds behind Slipstream in 4th, 7. 20 seconds behind is Mr. Mullet. Not quite able to catch Sector 7 yet, but there's still a whole stint ahead. Anything could happen. 20.9 seconds. 20.6 seconds is the final gap. Now let's have a look at the battle for P5. Dens versus SBS. They're a full lap behind of these lots. Still got a lap of racing. 4.4 seconds that gap has got to. Blue Racer 7 managing to unlap himself from SBS. Position himself in between this fight. Slightly to down by a bit. Further back, 9 seconds behind Errors. So there has been a nice pack 5th, 6th, 7th.
Yeah.
Seeing that.
Tank Pro, you have to have a 1 in your finishing position. So it's all good. 1, 10,
19.
11, we don't care.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll put a little overlay over the top of it so it hides whatever number's next to it so everyone thinks you're first.
Put a piece of tape over P1, that's how I watch F1.
So you can see the cars better, but I don't like the colouring now. It looks a little bit wishy-washy. But the problem is that they make the game so dark that it's almost impossible to see the cars.
It's almost like it's night or something.
Yeah, at Bathurst especially, it gets dark so quickly and you can't see anything really.
Yeah.
Benz has damage to caught the wall in the mountain section, but all our Mr. SBS 7.5 seconds behind. That's not to matter much, as we do have our 5th driver into the pits, 2 minutes 10 behind I'm Mullet. Denz is approaching the pit lane, is in, so the respective race silent driver should be out of pits anytime soon, as that handover is occurring. And we've got Mr. SBS for the Wild Moose Racing. I can never remember what the team name that is, something like that.
Loose Moose Racing.
Loose Moose, close enough.
There's a loose moose about this house. We've got 4 on track. Who's coming out next? It's Jakey, isn't it? There we go. Look, there he is. Perfect timing. Did you see that? It's like I'm a professional and shit.
It's like you know what you're doing.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we have
Said,
Evo
lag it.
Jupe is a full lap behind him.
lapping Mazda right now.
Evo's lapping Mazda. Mazda's in 3rd. So it
Yeah,
really
in 3rd,
has,
yeah.
in the last few sessions, really started opening up, hasn't it?
2 seconds, yeah, the gap between Evo and Mazda, so it's close. But then we would have 2 lap cars on the lead lap remaining.
You did a great job, Nick, to be fair. You opened that gap right out, giving Evo plenty of an easy opportunity to finish this. So Mazda up in 3rd. We've got Identity in 4th. Jakey in 5th. He's just come out. Alex has just come out of the pits. So it was Macho Monkey Man down
But
in
Nick,
7th.
plenty of admin stuff to do for you. You're not done yet.
Yeah, you're not allowed to go to sleep until all the steward inquiries have been dealt with.
Nope.
Who's next? Oh, there's my old mate Kazar.
No, you have to wait for Kazar.
Vortex, bloody pronounced.
Vortex is going to be the ghost.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
you won't be seeing him
Jupe
because
is
he's a
full lap
ghost.
Behind them, like, he's just going through the section.
I won't be seeing him because it's
got
dark.
about a minute to go before legs to pits. Oof. Let me there. That 911 out. We're just raising it. On to the final pit straight. Pits for Vortex. That had occurred now. 2 minutes 36 behind 6 error. Full minute 15 behind Blue Racer in 9th position. Into this stint in the 12th. Climbed his way all the way up to 9th. Absolutely incredible job from Blue here.
This is where it's going to get interesting because I'm just looking here. So Evo is just turning on to Conrad. He's in the lead. Val Salenta,
And he's slapping.
is 2nd, is just coming up to the chase. So it's going to be. I think that's the challenge. the gauntlet's been laid down for Evo to lap everybody, and we'll see what happens. But to be fair, it just makes our job bloody longer. I think they should all bunch up and finish all together in a nice little polite line, and all shake hands.
We should be allowed to force like a full course yellow or race stop, restart.
Call the safety
Whatever.
car.
Call it.
Into the pit.
Or a massive power cut at Castle Jaeger.
Yeah, definitely.
Bob's your
I
uncle.
can,
Has powers.
I can arrange that. No worries.
Back off a little bit. He ran out of
You're right. I can't share it. It is too big, but I have got. I can.
Yeah.
I can record the replays and send you the footage that way potentially, if that's what you would like.
Powers and Bob's your uncle into the pits. So that's the black flag and AHT, is it? Yeah, AHT occurring. 1 minute 17 until your final wall.
P6 and P7. Macho Monkey and Alex battling for position at the moment.
That is an exciting proposition. Monkey Man already ahead of him. It's whether Alex can stay with him. That's the problem. We know what Monkey's capable of. He can put in some absolutely stonking drives. I know that because he used to drive for Black Flag until he was stolen. I'm only joking.
But do they also have night vision?
I'm kidding. They must do. They'll have to.
Absolutely incredible stint. Blue 12th night. Incredible. Fantastic job for the team.
Yeah, that was an incredible job, Slipstream. I've just you definitely need a beer after that one. You've put Mazda in a really good position, up into third at the moment. And let's face it, it's gonna take some work from Identity, and I'm saying it like that because he spelt it titty.
The T.
Yeah.
P12 into the pits.
So 13.2 seconds. So he's going to need to be chucking out.
Both on lap 59.
That'll be the two. That'll be Roses, who's just coming out. So that'll be the two MRL Welsh Great and Mad Daz. He's mental. Apparently. So Fubot out in 10th. It's 29 seconds behind Kazar, but he's got Tank Bro, who is going after him now.
Yep.
But Tank Bro wanted to finish with a 1 by his name. He's got 2 of them. He should be happy with that.
Don't get greedy, yeah.
Yeah, you've got 2 ones. Give one to somebody else. Interestingly, Identity, who is chasing down Mazda, does have the fastest lap of the race. So that gap is starting to come down. I still think there's a potential battle on here for second. I'd like to say there's a battle on for first. There is. If Evo stops, has a cup of tea, meets a woman of his dreams, gets married, settles down, have kids, retires, and then finishes the race. I wasn't going to go down that road, but...
Nope. So Tank Pro was talking about doing 158s, so he did a 20-minute outlap. So I don't think he calculated that 20-minute outlap into his stint plan. So probably that's why he won't be winning this race. I get it now.
I think he meant 1 hour 58.
1 hour 58. I misread that. Sorry.
That's about how long a lap of Bathurst takes to beat.
It does if you walk. There's a lot of uphill. I'm a fat man in my very late 40s. It's going to take me an hour at least to get up that hill.
Did you tell us something yesterday with those underground tunnels? In here or whatever?
Yeah. So what it is, because it is actually a street course, not a purpose-built racing circuit, and there's loads of houses all around the outside of it, and these roads are used as their public roads when there's no racing on. But because obviously they'll be shut in when there's racing on, there's underground tunnels to allow them in and out of essentially that complex. But there's a speed run. Someone needs to remind me. It's either 20 kilometres an hour or 20 mile an hour speed restriction. I think it's 20 mile an hour because 20 kilometres an hour would be ridiculous. But it's very strictly enforced. They've got whole security teams, and there are massive fines for going over the speed limit.
P13 of MRL Chain 33 is in the pit. 40 Irish Tony. That is all our drivers in the pits now. For Stint 5, you can all fuck off to Stint 6 now. I'm gonna end the stream.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Last, thanks for having me here. See you lot next stream. Alright.
Yeah, Tank has the 1 and the 0 now. We can start the race.
So he's both first and last. Yeah, he's up to P10. Fubar, he's got. I was going to say he's got Bart the Roses a second behind him, but he's not. He's a minute and 10 seconds behind him. So head down time for Fubar. He's got no real trouble from behind. Nothing really to worry about. He can just concentrate on trying to stick, if he can, on the back of Tank Bro and maybe hope for a problem up ahead. So now everybody's
already 3
out.
seconds, I think.
Yeah,
So
I think now everybody's out. We can do the full run through. So we've got Evo in the lead by some significant margin. 1 minute 50 being that significant margin. He is closing fast on
10 seconds shy.
Yeah, 10 seconds shy of Valsalento, who's second. Now we've got a bit of a battle on because it's 13 seconds to a Mazda. Identity has already closed the gap to Mazda in third to under 12 seconds. That's your sort of next battle. So they're all lap 8. Then we go back a lap, and then we've got Jakey. He's at the moment 11 seconds ahead of Monkey Man, who we know has put in some fastest laps today. So we'll absolutely be having a go at that. Halex has already been overtaken by Monkey Man Macho, but he's only 3 seconds back. So potentially he could be catching Jakey if Jakey doesn't get a bit of a hurry up. They're all on lap 7. A couple of laps back on lap 5, that's Ghost. He's pretty much on his own. He's a couple of laps behind Halex, but he's 1 minute 16 seconds clear of Kazar, the ERA Pirates. 29 seconds is his gap over Tank Bro, who's now up into 10th. He's already pulled 5.5 seconds on Fubar. Fubar in 11th is over a minute clear of Bite the Roads. Bite the Roads are going to need to put in a shift of epic proportions to close that gap. That on lap 5 and 4 respectively. And then we've got Welsh Great and Mad Daz on lap 3, 11.5 seconds apart for MRL racing to the end. There we go. That's all 14 runners. We've still got 14 runners in it. Love it. Love it when we get to the final stint and we've still got a full lobby. And we've only had, surprisingly, one disconnection all day, haven't we?
Yeah.
In lobby 1, which is considering how much I usually slag off PD for having shit servers, I should probably apologise.
Yeah, blame it on my connection because I was hosting.
That's it. Well, you're hosting this one as well, so let's not jinx it, eh?
Oh. We cursed ourselves. Now, sheesh.
You did a good little race there, Blue. To be fair, you had some really solid pace. Yeah, it can get difficult. It can get difficult in the night. It's not so bad if you've only done the circuit for 2 hours in the dark, but if you've got that change in the light, it can really mess with your head a little bit. Messes with your brake points and your muscle memory and all that kind of thing. But
Slugsy, imagine a night race with rain. Blue Racer would be just like, I don't know, unstoppable.
yeah, that would drive me insane. I'm not a fan of the rain anyway, but in the night as well, so you can't see it on 2 counts.
Yeah. But just saying, we have the Le Mans 24 on the calendar as well. And
Yeah, of course.
there is nighttime and there is rain. The possibility of rain. Who knows?
Yeah, that's going to be,
Maybe
that's
we'll
going to
get
be
that.
brutal. I think that's going to be a great leveler. Whether we see big gaps like this from ERA, because at the moment ERA have been very, very strong throughout the series thus far. We need. I mean, to be fair, I think you have to look at ORT today, and I think they have been. I don't think they've been outside the top two since the race began. As soon as they got up into second, that's it. They haven't been out of that top two.
Yep. I think briefly with a little bit of damage in P3, but not for long. So let's call it podium.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, definitely
Positions.
in the podium positions, because obviously Nick had that foray with the wall in stint one, which took ERA out of the equation for a while. And of course we've also had Sector 7 have been up there in those spots, and we've had AHR have been up there as well. But AHR are struggling now. They're down in it's Tank Bro in 10th now. So, but he's closing on Kazar quite quickly. That's down to 25 seconds already. Kazar didn't have a great last lap either. It was a 2:06 for him. Tank Bro took 5 seconds out of him on that last lap. That can't continue. It will be an absolute clusterfuck for Kazar if that continues, because Fubar's only 11 seconds back, although he's lapping around the 2:04s at the moment. Bite the Roses is a couple of seconds a lap faster. So although Bite the Roses is catching Fubar, it's going to take the entire stint to catch him. So all Fubar's got to do
Fubar
is
just spun it.
I literally was about to say all he's got to do is keep out of the wall.
No, it didn't happen.
But that didn't happen. But
The
as I said,
exit of the final turn, yeah.
there is a minute there on the board, so yeah, hopefully he can keep ahead. We'll see. We will see. Plenty of racing to go. So outside the top, Sector 7 of the drivers we want to look at, because Mazda at the moment in that top 3, but he's got Identity closing, and he is himself closing on Val Salenta in second. Monkey Man Macho has closed the gap to Jakey already to 11 seconds. Yes, you're sorry, I forgot to say that. You can't park that there, mate. Yeah, 11.2 seconds now to Jakey. So it's not going to be long before we see Monkey giving Jakey something to think about. Hopefully it's not a penis picture. Jakey is a whole 2 laps behind Identity, who is on lap 11. So yeah, there's a couple of little races going on. We've got Evo's chase to catch Val Salenta just ahead of him and lap everybody. We've got the Val Salenta Mazda Identity battle for essentially there's 3 cars for 2 podium places right there. We're going to have the Jakey and Monkey Man Macho, potentially also Halleck's battle on lap 10. We've got Ghost and Kazar separated by a minute. Not much going on there, but Kazar's got Tank Bro 22 seconds behind him, so potentially something there. Fubar and Roses may be right at the end of the race if Roses can close that almost 1 minute gap. And then we've got Welsh Great and Mad Daz having their own little battle at the back.
Yeah, the battle of MRL at the back.
Yeah, I think that's the big one, isn't it? That's the big one.
And Fubar pitting.
Get that damage.
repair
I think
damage.
that makes sense. It's quite early on. You don't really want to be running another 20 or 10 laps with that kind of damage this early on in the race. So it just changes his strategy a little bit.
This definitely helps Roses to get closer.
Yeah. But of course they're going to be out of sync now, pit stop wise. So I think Roses is going to have to make sure that he's on point and he doesn't himself put it into a wall.
That's usually not quick.
No, it's not the quickest way around there. So Val Salenta, we look at his last 5 laps. low 202s, high to mid, high 201s. Mazda consistently in the mid to low 201, so he's taking about half a second a lap out of Valsalenta. So with that 10-second gap, we're somewhere, I think we're looking before the first pit window, or just after the first pit window, we should see a little potential overtake going on there, depending on when they decide to pit, of course. Identity, he is also in the low to mid 201s with a couple of high 2 minuters in there. So he's actually closing on Mazda. So there is a really good potential here. So essentially we're looking in about 20 laps time, so around the midpoint, we could be seeing Mazda fighting for second, Identity fighting for third, and then ultimately them fighting for second. So it's all very much on in the front there, while Evo disappears off into the distance.
The potential is there for this battle, exactly. And with Evo trying to be the only car on the lead lap, just 5 seconds-ish, not much. I think he can see Valsalenta on the long straight.
Let's go on board with him and we'll have a little looky, see what he can see. What can you see, Evo? I can see Valsalenta.
No, that's a lapped car in between, but
he's just up the end of that bit there, isn't he? Look, there he is.
But
he's going into turn one now.
Yep.
So how long will it take? So Evo is not fast enough. Well, Tank Bro, fastest man on the track, with a 2:04. He did say he was going to be quicker, but he also said he was going to do a 1:58. So I don't believe a word he says. He's full of shit.
He's still not taking it as seriously. It's like, don't push from the beginning, right? We still have 2 hours.
Yeah, absolutely.
To make up 9 minutes.
Yeah, it's one of those. It's a stint as well, where if your team has done quite a good job and got you into quite a good position, you're kind of torn between: do I push the living shit out of this and try and improve even better, or do I consolidate and just make sure I don't lose what we've already earned? I'm sure pretty much anyone in the top 5 is just going to go absolutely balls out for it. I think ORT, they'll be, if they don't get second, they're going to be really disappointed. I just saw that, Nick.
Yeah.
I'm surprised he's not still at Daytona. So that's Evo with that back marker out the way. The next one in his sights is just going around that kink now. That is Valsalenta. Sounds like a dip.
Yeah, it sounds very, very dirty.
I was thinking more like, something you could go in and order, like a brioche and some Valsalenta. Something you do on MasterChef.
Yeah, Macho Monkey with the fastest lap of the race.
Let's have a look. What's that gap to Jakey now? That's 7.5 seconds. That's going to be on very, very soon. But Alex is kind of staying with it. I mean, Monkey is pulling away from him, but Alex isn't super slow. He's putting in those low 201s to low 202s. Very similar times to Jakey, actually. If
and
he
he's
can
running
close it up.
The AMG with the team that did the one stop. We'll see. But this is probably too quick for the one stop.
Yeah, maybe. It was Stormfly actually tried the one stop in the Lexus for Black Flag on Stint 4, and it would have worked, but for the fact he crashed in the last 10 laps and had to repair. But he was making it work, and it was working quite well for him. But it ended up costing him a position with a crash, so he's sacked.
So it didn't work then.
Well, it still did. He still had to stop it, but it was going well until that point. The Ghost is kind of Exactly like a ghost, because he's on his
He's
own. He
invisible.
can't see anyone.
Yeah,
he's
yeah,
invisible.
exactly.
There is no one near him on the racetrack. It's all a minute and 17 seconds ahead of Kazar, and a couple of laps behind Alex. So yeah, he's going to be ghosting the whole time.
It's more than a lap behind Alex, yeah.
Yeah, so that's Tank Bro 16.7 behind Kazar. He's lost his fastest lap. That was taken from him unceremoniously by Monkey Man Macho. How many? He's had quite a lot of fastest laps. I'm sure he's had a fastest lap in every session he's been in. Whether he's kept it or not is another matter. But he's certainly had one in every session he's been in so far.
He likes to see his name probably there with
Yeah,
FL.
maybe. He's a big fan of purple, I've been told. I don't suppose it'll be long before Evo decides. Right, once I've got Valcent and got that out of the way, then I might start going for the 159. Before of course Tank Bro can get his 158. I'm acutely aware I have offered
every lap.
Yeah, I've offered to put my nipples on YouTube if he gets a 158, and although I'm not all that worried, there is that little niggle at the back of my mind thinking, well, it's not out of the realms of possibility that it could happen. And I'm a man of my word, you know. I've got to do it.
Yeah, you should have played it safe and said like a 155. With that 158 still sounds too quick, but not.
Yeah, I think looking at what we've seen so far, I mean, we've only seen 2 drivers I think go sub 2 minutes in the entire race.
Yeah, and high 59s. That was 59.8, 59.9. So, yeah.
So I think we're safe. I mean, 9/10 of a second is a lot to find when the fastest lap has been at that point. But you know, who knows? Who knows? So this gap now, Mazda to Valsalenta, down to just under 7 seconds. It's going to be all about trying to hold on now for the Overboost Racing team, who've been so strong today.
And
Just looking at,
I think Evo with a little mistake. 204 on the previous lap.
Oh, that's actually awful. Nick, sack him. He's useless. Rubbish.
Identity in the pits. What?
That's very early. He hasn't got any damage.
That is a new strategy.
He's really burnt through those tyres, though. Look at the state of those tyres in comparison.
I remember, yeah. Well, I was covering him and my stint earlier, and he was flying but shredding his tires, so he did soft mediums.
Where is RA number 1? That's Jakey, isn't it? In 5th. Is it
I think it's Kazar. I don't know.
Oh, Kazar.
No. Who knows?
Can't remember. It's one of them.
Can't remember who's number 1.
Ray, you got one of them there. There's Kazar in 9th.
Yeah.
And Jakey. That's quite piratey as well, isn't it? Jakey and Kazar.
You are number 1 racer side of all.
Oh, suck it up again. Stop blowing smoke up our ass. Right, so Monkey Man Macho now 4.5 away from the back of Jakey, really putting that hammer down at the moment, taking about a second to a second half a lap out of him as it stands. And there's Mazda just 6.2 behind Valsalenta. 2 big battles going on. Ironically, both featuring Sector 7 drivers. Sector 7 on that charge yet again. Can you please check in on Evo? Evo's all right, mate. He's doing absolutely wonderfully. He doesn't need any more coverage. He's still running. He's not dead. His tyres are looking great. He's 6 months ahead of everybody else. He's basically time travelled. He's so far ahead. We want to stay with this battle because I think this is going to happen before the pit window. This Monkey Man Macho and JeGr thing. I really do. He's really taking chunks out of him at the moment.
Yep.
I think the only saving grace JeGr has got is just ahead of him is a car offering him a little bit of slipstream, I think. This car behind him. Sorry, it's not ahead of him. He's behind him. So he's got a back marker as a buffer, keeping Monkey Man at bay. But it's only a matter of time before Monkey Man gets in the slipstream of the back marker and uses that back marker, or well, it might be the front runner actually. I can't tell. Who is that? Let's have a little look and see.
Yeah, we have 3 chasing battles at the moment. With
that's actually Identity in the middle of that Monkey Man Macho chase down, and he himself is trying to stay with Mazda. He's opened that gap up to 30.6 seconds.
Yeah, after the pit stop, yeah.
Yeah.
But we also have then Tank Pro, who is getting closer and closer to Keza.
He is indeed.
Still over 40 seconds, but was I think 30 seconds at some point.
Yeah, he's already closed that gap significantly. And we'll have a look at how Rose is getting on the chase down for Fubar after Fubar's accident as well. As Monkey Man Macho's closed it to 3.4. Let's have a look at the MRL guys at the back. Welsh Great 7.6 ahead of Mad Daz. Nothing much separating them two. I'm sure there's going to be a bit of a battle there. It looks like Fubar has had some sort of problem elsewhere. That gap was over 1 minute. It's down to 17.7 seconds. That's a big turnaround. Fubar, no damage on there, but he looks like he may have had to pit twice. We'll have a look at the timer. He's had another spin somewhere that... it doesn't actually look like he's had a spin. I think it's just he had the pit stop, and then he had the crash, he had the pit stop, and then just the time's going to be coming out of him. It is what it is. There is that saving grace though. That 12th is where Black Flag qualified, so it's not, from that perspective, it's not a loss. You've essentially stayed where you are. He's just got to make sure he stays ahead of Welsh Great and Mad Daz, but they are 2 laps behind, so that would be an amazing feat of impossibility to catch up.
And we have blue flags showing now for Valsalenta, so Evo is within those 2 to 3 seconds.
He is indeed. Very, very close. He's coming round the mountain really fast. How long Valsalenta going to... Is it really that? I was wondering if it's demoralising, because I'm thinking from the point of view from ORT's perspective, is that the last time Evo was in this car in the lead, the ORT car behind him was 9 seconds back until a penalty and then a little slip. That was in stint 4. All of a sudden now, a couple of hours later, and he is closing in behind the same team, about to lap them, and be the only car on a circuit that has lapped every single other car. I suppose from the perspective of ORT, it's a case of that at one stage, a couple of hours ago, they knew they had a chance to win it. Now they know pretty much they don't, so they can kind of, I suppose, settle in and just try and keep Mazda at bay. The problem is Mazda's now only 4.2 seconds back, so this is going to be it could be a bit of a disappointing end for ORT.
Yeah, it could be. I also think the opening formation lap infringement will be handled after the race for
yes,
Sector 7.
So there's going to be quite a few bits handed out.
Most
after the race,
likely a penalty incoming for that.
Yeah, how big the penalty is, of course, because at the end of the day, he should have started at the very back, and he didn't. He ended up pushing up, and I think he started somewhere like 7th or 8th, which is a massive, massive difference. That's halfway up the field. Oh, I did promise everybody, because during my stint, I don't know if you were listening, but I found a list that someone has researched slang terms for penises between 1602 and 1975. and I was sharing the odd nugget every time we had a pit stop. But I thought I'd give you a little test and see if you could guess as we go through. So we'll start with 1613. What do you think was a favourite slang term for a penis in the year 1613 in London?
You need to give me a multiple choice there because I'm not native English speaking or whatever. Don't know what those terms.
It's based on a large fruit.
On a large fruit.
Yeah, it's long plum. So back in 1613, you were walking around London and wanted to talk about your penis. You would be talking about your long plum. I think that's quite relevant now. Right, that's Evo into the pits, along with Valsalenta. Both coming in bang on lap 20. Neither of them really had to, but they have stuck to their guns. So Mazda will briefly take the lead of this race. How long does he choose to stay out for is the burning question, of course. No, he won't take the lead of the race, will he? Because Evo's an entire lap ahead.
Slugsy has a great idea as well for slang words.
Pork sword. Yeah, that is that's a more modern one. I quite like tallywhacker, which isn't on the list, unfortunately. But I thought tallywhacker is quite a Victorian one. Shall we go a bit more modern? 1975, the corned beef torpedo.
That sounds not correct.
It doesn't
beef torpedo.
It doesn't sound very nice. There's a couple of real good ones here. You got 1896. It was referred to in a poem as a quimstick.
I'm not sure. I think this sounds similar to a. Do you know the band Bloodhound Gang?
I do know the band Bloodhound Gang, yeah.
And they have this song called Foxtrot Unicorn Charlie Kilo, where they're also doing some of those weird jokes with like some of those weird names for stuff, and I think this is something similar.
To be fair, I'm quite loving what's coming through on the chat. We've got Groin Gouger, which I quite like. Ricky Baldy's are great. I've just arrived in time for Knob Talk. Nick's gone with the old Johnson, which is a favourite. I don't quite know where the beans on toast came from, Aero. I'm struggling to see the connection. Long schlong. And poor old Ray's in the middle of all of this. Right, so Monkey Man Macho, he's been into the pits as well. He's got 4.5 seconds worth of penalty. So any hope he had of putting Jakey under some pressure, it's gonna be diverted to later on in the race because that's just a massive penalty. We'll see just how devastating it is now. He was 8.2 behind Alex. It slowed him to absolutely nothing. So he's going to have to get back up to speed. By the time he gets to the end of Conrod, into the braking zone, that 8.2 second gap to Alex is 14.1 seconds. So that 4.5 seconds worth of penalties is actually costing him closer to 7 seconds. She likes being in the middle. Very funny, Nick. Does she like being in the middle with the 1951 Ding Wallace? That's an American one, actually. It's not a UK one. It does sound that's something an American would say. Let me show you my Ding Wallace. We'll have to ask Identity after the race. Who is the fastest man on the racetrack at the minute?
Yeah.
Uncle Remas. I like that. Slugs in their little play on words. Very good. So, Mazda is still yet to pit, but he's up to second. But the gap's only 17.8 seconds. So Valsalenta will regain that second position when Mazda goes in. How long he keeps it though, who knows, because Identity, who pit very, very early, strangely, is 6.1 seconds behind him. So we may well see Mazda actually dropping out of that top 3 at this next pit stop.
It will be looking like the same strategy, 15, 16 laps on softs and then a long stint on mediums for identity.
Maybe. There's no one really that's used those mediums that I've looked and gone, that was a really clever strategy. It just didn't look to me like it worked, especially when the softs quite easily last 20 laps, and there are people who've taken those softs to 30 laps. I think using the mediums doesn't really make much sense.
Yeah, but not for everyone by the looks. Identity, they couldn't make it last for more than 16, 17 laps. So
yeah, very true. That's JeGr in. Alex behind him, he's going to need to pit relatively soon. Monkey Man Macho has pit, but he had that absolutely brutal 4.5 second penalty. I'm assuming that was a pit lane infringement and some abuse of some track limits somewhere.
Keza in the pits.
So yeah,
Tank Pro
Keza in.
pitted a lap earlier by the looks.
So Fubar's still ahead of Roses. Roses hasn't made massive inroads yet, and Roses is going to have to pit. Remember, Fubar got to pit early, like it was a treat. He pit early to do some repairs, so he's out of that kind of pit window.
And Evo
Roses
now
still
about
has
to
come
let
in.
Valsalenta through the dipper. They go. It's
First
going to
versus
happen.
second, but the other way round. Really close to the back of Valsalenta now. He's going to make this move. Valsalenta he can't really block him. He's got to keep on at him, and he's going to make him go up the inside into that little kink. He's made it look quite easy, to be fair, Evo there.
Mazda into the pits. So
Right, so we'll see whether he loses that place in the top 3 now, because Valsalenta and Evo are going to come through. So that's 2 people Evo's got to lap on this on this lap 20. Was it 23 for him?
Evo should be fine.
coming
So,
through.
but this means we have just 1 car on the lead lap with Evo when he spots Race Asylum. It's official.
Absolutely official. There we go.
And
1 car
Identity
on that lead
will
lap. He is through, and he's up into
get
3rd.
past Mazda. Oh, just 2 seconds.
But his tyres are already warm as well. That's the thing. He was closing on him anyway, so we expected there to be a battle. I thought it might be before the pit window, but Slugsy's still at it with the spam javelin. We'll do some more in the next pit window, around lap 40. JeGr 6.62 Monkey Man Macho. He's closing that gap again. Is Monkey JeGr in the rather inconsistent over the last few laps, to be fair. He's just come out of the pits, hasn't he? So that would explain that. But in the mid 201s, low 202s, Monkey Man Macho firmly sub 201 throughout. Evo on the cusp of a 159 with that 0.067 on that last lap. That bit of slipstream from Valsalenta would have helped him out a little bit. He did that on lap 22. Valsalenta not looking super quick out there at the moment. Struggling to get into the 201s.
So I think I'm just reading those lyrics from the Bloodhound Gang song. So this is also like crazy stuff. But we'll keep that for later. Please, you with some this would also be like something to sing along. Yeah.
So Mazda already 4.3. So he's lost 2 seconds to Identity on that lap. So clearly he was going to get him anyway. Now the problem is, of course, can Mazda get themselves back in that top 3? He's going to want to finish as high as possible to negate any penalty coming their way, of course. And a top 3 would go some way to help with that. Alex is not going to catch him. There is that saving grace. There's a good couple of laps between them. But you don't want to be, if you're battling for if you're battling for seconds, you don't want to be the one at the back of that battle, the one of the 3 cars or the one of the 4 cars that are battling for a podium. You don't want to be the one that didn't get the podium. It's, you know, almost as bad as losing, isn't it, really? But this Alex and Jakey now, if you look at Jakey really closing on the back of Alex, 1.5 seconds. He's got Monkey Man Macho chasing him, but he's more concerned with whether he can get his way around Alex just up ahead in 5th position. And it looks like he is lapping considerably quicker than Alex at the moment. About a second a lap at the moment he's taken out of him. So it's going to be a good opportunity to secure 5th place for Jakey.
And we might be seeing the move from Identity up on Valsalenta out of Forest Elbow.
Oh, he is. He's right there already. He's really reined him in. This is actually a very strong final stint performance from Identity, and that's the move done. That is the ORT dream almost over. They've been in second for so long, but now he's got to hope that Mazda can't find those 6 seconds to catch him. But I think at the moment Mazda's looking a bit quicker than Valsalenta's been.
Yep.
So that's going to be absolute paramount now. That's going to be key for Valsalenta, is holding on to 3rd. Absolutely got to be priority number 1.
Still think ORT is on a better overall strategy with tires. So it's like lost the fight for now, but will win the battle in the end.
Yeah, possibly that it will come back to them later. Once everybody's had their final stop, I think then we'll have a much better idea. And look, it is dark and it is Bathurst, and although the accident rate has dropped significantly from stint number 1, there is always that potential for any one of these drivers to make that little mistake, just to catch the grass in the wrong way, get on that power that little bit too early, or hit a wall somewhere in and amongst the mountain.
Looking at Jakey, 0.7 behind Alex. The battle for P5.
Absolutely on him at the moment. Yeah, he's just going to tuck under that rear wing now as they head through up into the cutting and through this really tricky. It's probably one of the trickiest sectors of a racetrack, certainly on Gran Turismo, apart from Horse Thief Mile, which is an absolute clusterfuck. But
that comparison, dude.
I saw someone the other day.
Horse Thief Mile.
in terms of like being really complex and quite hard to do. I mean, but you don't often see people racing Horse Thief Mile. But I actually saw on social media someone advertising it as part of a series, like a 2-hour race around Horse Thief Mile. And I thought, have you been dropped on your head? You are literally going to get nobody sign up for that. It's going to be just you driving for 2 hours around Horse Thief Mile. But not a bad exit for Jakey. I'm not sure if he's quite close enough to get the move done, though. That AMG is pretty powerful in a straight line. Although, as they hit the crest of this hill...
He shouldn't be waiting for too long, because Macho Monkey just under 5 seconds behind.
Yeah, he is closing in. He'll want to put that... He'll want to put Alex between him and Macho Monkey, because Monkey will catch them. Monkey will be up into 5th place before long. Having a little go into... Had a look in Murray's, didn't really work out there. Might have I don't think Helix is going to make or Alex is going to make that mistake again, leaving a gap to turn 1. No, he's not. He not inviting him in, but that was a great exit for Jakey out of turn 1, and this is going to be his opportunity heading up the hill. Great run out of turn 1 there. Hell corner. It's hell for Alex.
Yeah.
And that is Jakey.
The outside line though, but he gets that move. Woo!
He gets that done, and good racing there from Jakey.
Alex played along, yeah. But Alex, is he? He's still on this soft tires from the start, right?
He is still on the soft tires from the start, so he is. Is he going for 24. The one stopper then?
No, he has to do 5 more laps. I'm not sure.
Unless he's going to go
I'm
on to
not
the
sure.
mediums. But,
Yeah.
yeah. But I think you are worthwhile. I think if you can stretch the softs out for longer, I think you're worthwhile doing it in your first stint, just to give yourself a kind of a bit of a banker, really. If if you do need to stop again because something goes wrong, it's not going to cost you quite so much. But that is one of the better overtakes we've seen all day, to be fair, into turn 2 there, particularly around the outside. Really putting that charge on. But the gap to Monkey Man Macho now 2.4 seconds. That battle's on. And we've got Mazda is 3.4 to Valsalenta.
Rose has got a tap coming out of first elbow by the monkey and says thank you.
Thank you very much for that. Yeah.
Yeah.
So Monkey on a charge. We've got Monkey on a charge. We've got Tank Bro on a bit of a charge. 11 seconds to Kazar. Monkey, we know he's on the charge. Jakey just making that move on Hallex up into 5th. Mazda now chasing down Valsalenta. 5 seconds is the gap. But it looks like Valsalenta has upped the pace a little bit now. Almost as though that overtake from Evo dropping him a lap down, and then Identity almost straight away coming past him has given him a bit of a wake-up call and said, listen, you're going to need to get a wriggle on, mate, or you're outside this top 3.
A late wake-up call, but not too late.
No, not too late. Still plenty of time. It could be that he was holding some pace back and doing so knowing that he might have to have a fight later, but realises that at this stage of the race, you don't want to take the risk of having to chase down something with a few laps remaining. You want to be the guy that's defending, surely, rather than the guy that's attacking, because the onus is on the guy from behind not to hit you.
Yeah, it's also the second stint for most of the drivers, so I think you also feel it now after driving a couple of hours.
There's going to be that muscle fatigue. There's going to be that mental fatigue as well, and of course you've got the other thing where your eyes are starting to get tired, and you've still got to find that break point. You've still got to hit every single apex. You've still got to make sure.
So we have
you're gearing.
Macho Monkey now going for the move down the Comrade.
So Hallex is going to lose a couple of places. Is it going to be 2 laps and 2 places gone? Very, very close. Very close.
But also hangs it around the outside.
That was. Let's have another little looky see at that. That was very impressive driving from those two. So you can see Monkey there trying to find the right view to do. There we go. Let's do that one. So you can see there round the outside. Hallex holding on to that inside line, and they are literally side by side through there. But Monkey does get the car slowed down, does get that AMG just poked ahead, and that's 2 places down for Hallex in 2 laps.
And that's 59.81. Is this the fastest lap of the event?
I think so. I think the other one. I think it was high 8.9 something, 59.891 or something like that.
0.79. I'm not sure. I can't remember, but it's very close to that fastest lap of the event. This is also like a separate award, so definitely worth going for it.
Absolutely worth going for it. But yeah, I mean that's still a second off where Tank Bro thinks he's getting to. Right,
just
talking
looking
of
at
people
Tank
being
Bro's lap
chased
times.
down. So it's now Monkey Man Macho is chasing down Jakey. That's 2.3 seconds. Mazda is chasing down Valsalenta, and that is now 3.1 seconds. So Valsalenta responded with a bit of pace, but Mazda has responded as well and upped his pace to start closing that gap down to 2.9 seconds as we start for these guys lap 29. So almost, we're certainly halfway point for Evo, but almost halfway for these guys here, batting out for essentially 2 podium places for 3 cars. Kings has lost 10 years of his life today avoiding damage. Yeah, to be fair, I think we've all lost quite a lot of years watching crashes today. So where's the next overtake come from? Is it Mazda or Valsalenza? Is it Monkey on Jakey? It looks like that might be the one. He's already cut it down to under 2 seconds. He's on a massive charge at 1:59.8, followed by a 2-minute 0.5, a 2-minute 0.7, another 2-minute 0.5. He means business, does Macho Monkey Man. Very, very, very quick driver. There's actually, I don't know how much you know about the Lithuanian community, but there's quite a lot of Lithuanian drivers sort of spread across the country, or across the world, should I say, that race on Gran Turismo. And one of them is a guy called Simonas, and he qualified for the European qualifiers, and I think he missed out in the semi-final by something ridiculous, like 1/10 of a second or something like that. But he speaks very, very highly of Monkey Man Macho, and he even suggested that, because he does this on the G29. We're not talking, he hasn't got some mad Fanatec kit and all of that. He's been driving like this on a G29, and he was saying that if he had the best equipment in the world, he would probably be a World Tour driver.
See, kids, it's all possible. You don't need expensive equipment. You can run it with a G29 on a wood air.
Well, I mean, look at
With a
Evo's on
small
control, isn't
monitor. I don't know.
Isn't Evo
somewhat
sitting on his couch on a pad? which makes me feel sick that I've bought like pedal upgrades and all this kind of thing, and I still can't drive anywhere near that fast.
But it looks good in your man cave or placed it like
in the corner
shiny
of my front
stuff.
room.
Yeah, the fun room.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's genuinely it can be a conversation starter. People come in your house for the first time like, oh, what's that? Let me play boom boom. So that's into the pits. Who's into the pits? That's Welsh Grating and Fubar into the pits. Fubar with some damage, but he's in that kind of odd pit window anyway, isn't he? So Identity's on a pad as well, apparently.
Keza to gap down to under 10 seconds.
He is,
but
very
still
close,
far off those 58s he was promising.
Yeah,
before
miles
we
away.
started the race. He's lapping consistently in the 2 minutes. But
I mean that is front runner pace. So
yep.
Some works. There's a Hallex in the pits as well. We can say next time someone goes to the pits,
we have damage for Valsalenta and Mazda right behind now.
So Mazda's going to take the decision.
But
Mazda's got a penalty. So he's going to catch him and then not be able to keep it
and
as
then
they go
lose
through
it
that
and then
penalty
catch
line.
again. Oh no.
This will be interesting
Identity.
actually because...
Okay, Identity is a pad driver I thought of because he was shredding the tires like massively.
So that's actually a twofold double whammy for Mazda there, because he was in the slipstream waiting to serve that penalty, and it didn't quite slow him down enough, and it gave Valsalenta a little nudge up the road. So he's actually opened the gap up to 1.6 seconds. A bad driver
There's Matt Daz now, yeah. But Identity into the pits, so 50 laps again.
So that would explain the tyre wear, because I do hear from a lot of pad drivers that the biggest problem with pad is that it's much harder to control tyre wear. So
what to do now for them? That's a question. Mediums to the end, or go for another?
I think when you're as quick as him, knowing that he can't catch Evo at this stage,
50 soft. Come on, go for it.
I think it's a good idea to go for the mediums and take it to the end and see what happens.
No,
but
flat out balls to the wall. Come on.
So that's what he's going to do by the looks of it.
No, he's refueling way too much.
Yeah, he's on the softs.
He's on the softs, but he won't be able to get to the end on softs. But he will be trying probably to get that fastest lap of the race.
Maybe. It's a difficult one to get. And now, of course, he's outside that top three again now. We've got Mazda there closing on Valsalenta. Valsalenta back
again
into second. But for how long? Because Mazda is closing again on the back of him, this time without a penalty. And Valsalenta, with that damage, has opted to stay out.
decision time again. Yeah, it's basically 9 laps too early, that damage.
Yeah. Well, he will know with confidence what he can do on the soft tyres at a maximum. And he won't want to be pitting anywhere before that if he can help it. So if he knows without a shadow of a doubt he can do 26, that's when he'll come in, when he's got those 26 laps left. But how much is it going to cost him between now and then? Because he's managed to stay ahead this time. He got a bit of luck on the lap before, but it's only a matter of time before the New Zealander Mazda reins him in and gets
looks
this
at least
job done.
1.5 seconds for now per lap.
Yeah, and he's
Mazda
he might
is
be
here.
making a move here into Murray's. He's having to look up the inside
Good
under
dive.
braking. That's a brave dive from Mazda, and I'll tell you what, good driving from Valsalenta to notice that dive, because he did come from quite far back, Mazda there, and often you can miss a driver coming from that far back, and that's where you have it coming together. So actually very, very good driving from those two.
I think he kept an eye on that delta that was coming down really, really quickly.
Absolutely.
Good avoidance.
Yeah, very, very good avoidance. Identity, 24 seconds behind that battle now. He had at one stage got himself into second place. He's got 28 laps remaining to get himself back into that top 3. But he will
Shaky versus Macho Monkey, P5, P6, here we go.
It's finally Monkey's caught him. Yeah, Identity's got some work. His work cut out up there, but Monkey Man Macho vying for 5th. Now they will probably. I imagine that Sector 7 will know there is a penalty potentially coming the way of Mazda. So for Monkey Man, getting up into 5th position is absolute paramount, because he knows that anything that happens to Mazda could potentially see him promoted up a position. So for them, it's paramount to get that extra position just to guarantee it. Because I mean, how devastating would you be if your other team get punished and you are the one car that doesn't benefit from it because they only get busted down to just ahead of you?
So, and we have reached the final hour of this 12-hour event. Yeah, look at that.
Bunch of grown men spending an entire day staring at pixelated cars. Love it. It's brilliant, isn't it? It's great to be alive. What a wonderful time to be alive. Anyone that says it was better in the old days, bollocks. In the old days, it took 3 hours to load a game, and half the time it would crash.
Yeah. Like the good old days, right? Yeah.
But do you remember like playing games like Grand Theft Auto, like the original Grand Theft Auto, and looking and thinking the graphics can't get better than this?
Yep, totally agree on that.
Yeah.
I think I was so hyped when I first played the Daytona arcade.
Oh, you remember you used to try to get the 777 as you went under. Yeah.
And then I bought it. The Sega
Saturn,
system,
wasn't it?
Saturn, yeah, it was, and I think every once a year I turn it on and like I have Sega Rally left. I was like, what the actual F is happening here? Those big pixels floating around pretending to be race cars? No way. But at that time, it was like,
as a kid having
graphics or 3D graphics. Oh, amazing.
I remember having this Atari system you used to have to plug into your television, which had like Pong on it. It was basically 200 of exactly the same game, just with slightly different shaped balls and pads. You'd even knock them up and down the screen or side to side. And I used to because during the summer I used to go and stay in the countryside with my grandparents, and that used to be the first thing I'd pack. I didn't care about clothes or anything else. I used to spend hours and hours and hours on this thing, and essentially it was a pile of shit. but
it was so fun.
Good. So much fun.
I didn't start with the Atari, but I started with the Commodore 64 or 128. Not sure about the model, but then I played all those classic summer games, California games, things, and Bubble Bobble and whatever. The original what was it called? Outrun. That fake Ferrari you were driving.
Oh yes,
So-
yeah, from the old arcade outrun, yeah.
Yeah,
And there was I can't remember the name of it. It was Road Rage or something. You used to ride a bike and you used to have to kick the people off as you went past them. I can't remember, Road Rampage or something it was called. I used to love that. And Paperboy. When you can't.
Oh,
Paperboy
Paperboy,
was an
exactly.
absolute
Yeah. Agreed. Yeah. Yeah. So definitely was way better back in the days. I mean, you had to actually visit someone to play with them.
Yeah,
Oh, crazy stuff.
isn't it? Your friend would actually have to come round and sit next to you, bring his control round because you only had one. Because they were almost as expensive as the system itself. Stig has asked a very poignant question. What was the gap for Sector 7's team position to last place at the end of the first stint? Because that might essentially be the penalty. I can't answer that question because I don't know.
No.
All I know is that he was 7th or 6th. It was quite flying quite high.
Last place also is difficult to say because we had a disconnect.
Yeah, that's
So
the other thing as well because we had a disconnect and we don't know what last place was.
Yeah.
So, but essentially he just has to keep driving forever.
It's a job for the stewards. But this is not getting tasty between Jakey and Nacho Monkey.
It is. He's caught him, but he's doing what. Do you remember early on? I think it was Stint. It happened to Stint 1 when he could have made the overtake and just didn't for a long time. Is he doing that again? Just toying with him like Tom and Jerry? Just toying with him? Good, let me play with you. Dance for me, monkey. Right. So who was it? It was Stroke wanted to have a look at Ghost. There's no point, you can't see him. There he is, he's running in 8th position. He's 54 seconds clear of Kazar. Not likely to get caught now, not with just 28 laps remaining of this race.
5 seconds between Kazar and Tank Pro. Look at that.
Tank
Pro wants to give up his 1.
He does. He's going to give that. He's going to get a 9.
He's risking it all.
Risking it all for a 9. And ironically, he is 9 minutes behind Ego.
Yeah.
So his race will go to. They won't even make lap 60, will they? Because if he's that far behind, so it will essentially be finished somewhere around lap 56. I suppose that's a bit of a benefit for the cars a bit further down that are in a little battle, is they can be a little bit more studious with the fuel. Because they know they're not going to have to run the full 60 laps because they are X amount of laps behind the leaders.
Yeah,
so they can
correct.
actually save a little bit of fuel somewhere and say, okay, do you know what? I can nick a place here because I don't have to spend that much time in the pits.
But I have some bad news for ORT. Valsar damage again.
More damage. So it's. Is this a kind of one of those things where karma has just come back to bite you in the arse? That you go, 2-3 stints without any damage, and then it all comes along towards the end, because they were at one stage the only team that hadn't had any damage on their car throughout stint 1. There was nothing throughout stint 2, stint 3 as well. I think they were completely clear. So I think the first time I saw any damage on an ORT car was in stint 4, so maybe they saved it all for the end. What gave them their position up in at the front of the pack early on has come back to repay the favour.
Yeah, King's cassette drive. Yeah, that was also my first thing. Load, shift 2, type something in, comma 8, comma 1, enter, and then the data set started to run, but then you had to change over to the other side of that data set if you want to continue playing. Like, what the hell?
Yeah, that's the thing, is you couldn't even go out when you were loading it because half the time it would fail, and the other half of the time you'd have to turn the disc over. So you'd sit there for 2 hours waiting to play. And in my house, it used to be like this. I'd get in from school, and I'd set it up to play, I'd get it loaded, finally get it to work, play for about 10 minutes, then call for dinner, and you think, oh, for fuck's sake. It got much better when you got cartridges you just had to blow on to make them work. I wonder if they ever had actually any effect. Any genuine effect, like scientifically. Probably not. So, let's do the full rundown because we haven't done that for a while. So, we'll go from Welshie at the back there. Was great. 42
just
seconds.
saw a little bit of contact between Macho and Jakey. Over Skyline into...
Shall we have a
the
little
S's
look?
they go. Yeah.
Oh, yes. Oh, that could have gone horribly wrong, couldn't it?
Yeah. But Jakey now with a run.
This is looking very good. Jakey getting that job done. We will in a minute shadow Chef. We will have a look at identity. We'll see actually what the gap is to Valsalenta because he's chasing down that elusive
under
top
5
three.
seconds. Yeah, with Valsalenta having damage.
So Jakey getting that job done. So there we go. Yes, it's down to under 5 seconds. This little chase down on the top 3. Mazda up into second. He's 15 seconds clear now of Valsalenta. It's a good run from Mazda. Right, where were we? We were looking at the back. So Welsh Great is 42 seconds behind Mad Daz, although they seem to be out of sync slightly with their pit strategy. Fubar Falantis is a whole lap up the road. He's got some blue flags waving in his direction. Bite the Rose is up into 11th place, 33.6 seconds up the road. But you know that's where Black Flag qualified. It's not a bad position to be in, considering that's where we started. Bite the Roses is a lap behind Tank Bro, who is very quickly reining in Kazar, 4.6 seconds up the road from him. 54 seconds up the road on the same lap is Ghost, but you can't see him. Ooh. And it's there's not much for him to be getting on with. It's a bit of a ghost town for Ghost. We've got a 2 lap gap to Halex, who at one stage was ahead of both Jakey and Macho Monkey from Sector 7, but now finds himself a minute behind them, with Macho Monkey and Jakey having an absolute ding-dong battle for 5th place. We've seen Monkey there, we've seen Jakey there, we've seen Monkey there again, and now Jakey back there after they had a tiny little coming together. But Monkey Man Macho's fuel is low, so it's not going to be long before he's into the pits. Jakey's is even lower as Monkey makes that move. Oh, and it goes wrong. He gets on the power a little bit too soon, and that has taken him right off the pace now and given Jakey that little bit of a breather. 7 seconds, could be probably 8
Identity
seconds.
is past Valsalenta.
So Identity is through, and Monkey Man Macho opts to go and pit early after that little spin. So Identity is up into 3rd. Valsalenta with that damage. He's opted to stay out right the way to his pit window of Valsalenta, and I think that's come back to bite him in the arse. 1.1 seconds back from the US-based Identity. Now, is there anything left for Valsalenta to do? Because he's going to have to pit pretty much now or next lap anyway to go to the end.
Yeah.
Identity, we know he's going to have to pit again, but he's out of sequence with these guys, so he's not going to be at the end of his tyre life on lap 60 the same way everyone else is. So that means that he's going to be in a much better position to, if he needs to chase down Valsalenta or even to chase down Mazda, because obviously at one stage Identity was catching Mazda as well, wasn't he? But, well, and he still has Yeah, that 59.869 to his name. 69. Nothing is not grown up. Macho Man back out of the pits. He's now it was so close. It was 4 tenths, 5 tenths. It's now 43 seconds up the road to Jakey, but he should be able to take this to the end of the race. Jakey ahead will still need to pit. He's going to have to find about 20 seconds, maybe just under, on Jakey. But in terms of his pace, he's certainly got the pace to do that. Although Jakey's been no slouch in this race, did a really good job holding him off. So Valsalenta into the pits. He'll repair that damage. He'll get on a fresh set of booties and fill that tank up. And then we'll see where we stand in terms of the... I say the top 3 shootout. It's not really a top 3 shootout. It's a second and third shootout.
Yeah.
Because Evo's got this sewn up in the bag. And I often wonder, when you've got like series like this, like F1, where you've got one guy, one team dominating, all the best sponsors want to sponsor them, but they actually get the less screen time because they're not doing anything apart from winning. The irony is, you want to sponsor someone in the
exciting
midfield
to watch them. Yeah.
You want your logo on the front of a car that's going to be constantly plastering it into a wall, really. Oh look, there he is crashing again with Andy's watches. We'll have a look at Evo though. We've got to give him some love. There he is.
Identity, nearly lost it. Coming through Skyline. Little tap. No damage though.
Holds on, that's the main thing. Evo's going to come in this lap and pit anyway. He is so far ahead, it's ridiculous. Mazda is 2 minutes 16 seconds behind us. That's a lap. It's essentially a lap and the final little bits, basically from the chase to the finish line of this track difference.
Maybe also pitting this lap. No,
no, he's going to stay out for another one and take it to lap 40. Shut up, dog, or I will have you murdered. Identity is 17 seconds behind Mazda. I don't know, why is the dog going mental? You know what? I've had a big dog for years, right? And a big dog never makes up any fuss, never fucks about. Little yappy bastard doesn't shut up. Right, yeah, 17.5 is the gap that Identity has to make up on Mazda if he wants to get there. He'll be ahead of him after the pit stop.
So this will be close with Macho Monkey again.
I don't know how close it will be though, because he lost quite a lot of time when he went off, didn't he, before he pitted. I think there's still going to be a good 16, 18 seconds difference between them after this pit stop.
Reckon under 10, but
we'll have a look now and see. We'll see just how smart I am, which will be wrong. we'll probably be wrong. I suppose it depends as well.
Yeah, we both will be wrong. Yeah, exactly.
All right, so where is Monkey Man? He is
coming round.
He is just coming round.
Just
there.
Out.
So Jakey coming out, and the gap is 16, 13, 9. You were
just
close
under
to
10.
Yeah. Sharp. Here's the thing, right? Playing devil's advocate, there is a lap between. So we've got Jakey is just coming up round the cutting now on lap 39. Valsalenta is just up ahead of him. Jakey is catching him. Now, 20 laps. It's probably a lot to ask for Jakey to regain that position and then and then go round again and catch him. But it's not going to be unheard of. I think Jakey might unlap himself here from Valsalenta. So if you're looking at the pace they're going at the moment, it could unsettle Valsalenta and make things worse, make him start making mistakes. We've already seen that as it started to go wrong with Mazda and Identity catching him, that he was making errors. What time is it in Portugal now? An hour, 2 hours ahead of the UK? So there it's going to be, 11:30 at night?
I think Portugal is on the same time zone as the UK.
I think, of course they are, yeah, Lisbon, yeah, of course they are. So, yeah, so it's not that bad then. It's only 9:30. Suck it up.
2-0.
Yeah. I'll go back to my list of penises. you do all the intelligent stuff, and I'll just talk
Speaking
about...
of penises.
Speaking of penises, where's Stroke?
That's
From 1935, we have the Kidney Buster. From 1888, we have the Liver Disturber.
wow.
I did quite like that. 1602 brings us the Kiki Wiki. But by far my favourite, and I don't know where this came from, but 1811, the Gaying Instrument. I don't even want to think about how that came about.
Was this made official by any organization or whatever?
I don't know.
Comes up with those.
You forget what song goes around like, I anoint you with my gaying instruments. You are now one of us.
It's sounds like, I don't know if this is also something in other countries, but in Germany there's always once a year there's the youth word of the year or something like that. So what the youth is using. But no one actually uses that. It's just made up by some weird jury. They don't have any clues. They just scan some socials and think that's a cool word.
Do you know what it is?
How young people talk, right?
Well, they probably asked like one person, and that one person goes,
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
But human beings can't be trusted, and proof of this, and I don't know if you got this story outside the UK, but proof of the fact that human beings can't be trusted is a local council had to replace it. They had a ferry to get you from, there was a big river in the middle of the thing, to get you from one side of the city to the other. They had a ferry, and they had to replace this ferry. All that was, who was that going into the wall there? That looked like...
Identity got out of the way.
It was Identity going that way. Yeah, so they bought this new ferry, and they asked the public to pick a name and then vote for a name. They ended up having to call the boat Boaty McBoatface, because they asked the public to give it a name. So that's how you know the public can't be trusted to do things. Because now they have this very posh ferry, and it's called Boaty McBoatface. Which I quite like, but... It's why you don't let your children name your pets either. Because you end up standing in the park shouting, Buttercup!
Yeah. Innocent names, but yeah.
So, Monkey Man Macho, 7.2 now the gap to Jakey. It looks like he is putting that chase on again. Be interesting to see how... I mean, it was quite a closely fought battle before, but if we've got this battle with 8-9 laps remaining in this race, is it going to be a lot fiercer, a lot more aggressive? I bloody hope so. And Tank Bro the same distance behind Kazar as well for 9th. So there's another potential battle going on there. Fubar 18 behind Bite the Roses, nothing going on there. Mad Daz winning the battle of the MRLs at the back of the pack. White Tiger it is indeed.
And to get us grounded before the final laps of the race and to finish up with all those penis jokes, I just want to read out the lyrics by the band Bloodhound Gang with the song called Foxtrot Uniform Charlie Kilo. So please listen carefully. This should be hilarious, probably. But yeah, so it goes a little bit something like this. Vulcanize the whoopee stick in the ham wallet. Kettle brought the oyster ditch with the lab rocket. Better dip the cranny axe in the gut lucker. Retrofit the pudding hedge, ooh la la, with the boink sweater. So, take it with whatever you have.
Absolute quality. Absolute quality. And you can tell that they were completely sober when they wrote that song.
Yeah, of course.
It's quite cool when you hear a song by a band, especially a band like you know quite well, and you know it's never going to be a single, it's definitely going to be buried on an album, but you know the night that they wrote that song they were absolutely wasted on like a big bag of crystal meth or something like that. Which brings me actually to, did you know that Lennon and McCartney have released a new song? It's not the original Lennon and McCartney, it's their children, and I'll tell you what, I've heard it. I refuse to play it on the radio because I do not want my name associated with that massive pile of shit. And I'm actually genuinely surprised that Paul McCartney hasn't said the same. Because it is absolute woeful rubbish. Which is going to sell in his millions because their names are Lennon and McCartney. Jake's gap 5.3 at the moment to Monkey Man Macho. He's closing at a rate of knots, is Monkey. But we know what happened last time. They got very, very close together. Monkey Man Macho just a little bit too brave with the loud pedal. Went on the grass, went into the pits, ended up some way back. So he's having to work his way back again onto the back of Jakey.
Ishmael in the chat, yeah, it's quality content, right? You joined in at the right time. I think it's also something we should do, so singing and doing a little bit of poetry slam and giving you some random facts about stuff. It's
penises cool. Mostly. the JeGr and UrbanPyrate Penis Hour. Brought to you by RRO. Are you sitting comfortably, children? Tonight we've got a story about cocks. Right, there is your race leader. It's lap 45 of 60. There are just 15 laps remaining in this final stint here at Bathurst in the 2024 GT Endurance Championship round number 6. And Evo leading the way significantly over the field. He has lapped every single car out there and doing a very good job of it. Identity has got that team absolutely swinging and up into second position.
But they need to pit again soon.
But yeah, he will need to pit again. 15 seconds to Mazda. Mazda is looking to bring it home. Now, Identity is a little quicker than Mazda, but the question, of course, is going to be how late does he leave it to pit? Knowing that he's probably going to have to chase Mazda, if you were in his position, would you not pit early to give yourself that additional time to catch him? Or would you just keep
Mazda spins it!
Oh, but that could change things. Does that bring Valsalenta back into a potential top 3 position now? That's someone unlapping themselves. Where is Valsalenta? Valsalenta's not far away. Let's have a little look.
Hell corner. Oh, all hell break loose.
Yeah, just it's as I was saying, you know, when you come out of these corners, sometimes you touch the grass and nothing happens, and there's that occasional moment when you've just got your wheel turned slightly, and you just get a little bit too brave, and the wheels just want to step out on you. So yeah, that might have put paid to any question of second for Mazda. Valsalenta though still too far back.
Down to 22. 12, 13 seconds lost with that 720 or whatever it was.
Tank Bro still 5 seconds. He closed quite quickly on Kaza, and then he's kind of stalled a little bit in terms of closing down the last few seconds.
Yeah, I still think 10th.
Yeah, maybe he wants that one. I think he's gonna. I think he's holding on for a little while. I think he's going to start to make a charge later on and make sure he's got enough tyre and fuel to do that with. Although there does look like there's plenty left for him, but there's still 18 laps to go for these guys, so plenty of racing to go for them. Identity into the pits, and actually I think that's the best time to do it because he essentially earned a free pit stop with Mazda spinning as he did.
Yeah,
so
that's true.
Use it while you have it is what I say.
It will be close. I think it will be around about 32, 33 seconds, maybe the pit loss.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a case of Mazda coming round the corner and either Identity coming out right behind
Maybe
or just
4 or
in
5
front
seconds.
of.
Doesn't need to refuel that much, so the refueling is the deciding factor. But it's close.
So he's back out. Mazda is 5.4. But Mazda's got dirty tyres and Identity has got new tyres. So no one with any real advantage at the moment. Getting a sore throat now from all this talking. I'm not going to talk at all tomorrow.
But what a race!
Yeah, it's been phenomenal.
Identity,
absolutely phenomenal.
and since the end of Stint 1, where they were basically dead last.
Yeah, it's been
P2.
It is crazy, isn't it, to think that, you know, at some point every car in that top 3, or certainly the top 3 has been way down the field after a spin or a crash or some kind of disaster, and they seem to be able to just find that pace and work their way back through. Any help with Ghost's blue flags?
The car behind is Mad Dash. That's not a car to worry about.
Yeah.
But what's the other car then?
I don't know. Well, up ahead.
That's Mazda, I think. P3.
Yeah, that's Identity, and then Mazda P3, and then we've got Ghost there. Where's Ghost? He's gone, disappeared. There he is in 8th position. VR driver issues. Yeah, I think that's the one thing that wasn't really considered by PD with VR is things like these long endurance races where you've got things like flags and you need that little bit more information on the screen. I think that's something they do need to improve with the VR experience. Certainly now that I'm on the VR train, I absolutely want to see all these things improved. I didn't care before, but I do now.
You should be at least be able to talk to a virtual race engineer, like give me the gap to or whatever. So give me some race update if you want to have like full immersion.
Yeah,
I
absolutely.
Get it that you don't have all those deltas floating around on your screen, but then you should have communication with.
You should be able to bring them up. I mean, you've got plenty of buttons on your on your controller, or your steering wheel to do that. There's no reason why that information can't be brought up readily available. And let's face it, a lot of it is available when you're in a race car. But you know, the Japanese they do things differently, don't they? They don't think of the same things that everybody else does, but then they think of things that we wouldn't even dream of. So I suppose from that aspect,
I mean, in VR you can inspect basically the entire interior of your car, but I think most of us don't even care. They are using chase cam or bonnet cam or hood cam, not even drive in cockpit, so they don't actually know all about the details PD is putting into those car models.
Well, that's it. I mean, there is a lot that goes into it. To be fair, I do slag them off a lot, but they do some great things with this game. It just annoys me because I think it could be so much better.
I was referring to that you should have this available in the game, not like to rely on an actual driver in the same lobby or party chat or whatever. So the game should answer you. Give me the gap to driver behind, in front, to the leader, something like that. So a bit of the F1 games where you had the good old Jeff at some point who was giving you information, not that correct, but still some kind of information. Will it rain? No, it rains. So yeah,
it would be useful. Oh, that'd be lovely. Now that would mix things up, wouldn't it? A little bit of rain for the last 6 laps. What is it? So laps. So it's 11 laps left for Evo. You just clipped the wall there. No damage, but ACC does have that type of feedback. It is quite good getting that car on your right,
ACC,
car on your left.
They have, so iRacing has this race engineer or the spotter, and also like some basic information with the voice. And ACC, they have like overall race information, like deltas to the 4 or 5 cars ahead and in front of you with the gaps, so you can actually see them. But yeah.
Who is Tank
games.
stuck behind? Tank is stuck behind Kazar. He's not really stuck behind him at the moment. He just needs to catch him first. Then we'll find out if he's stuck behind him.
He got past Valsalenta.
Oh, was he stuck behind Valsalenta for a bit?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not an easy overtake. Even with his damage, he's been very quick, hasn't he? Yeah, I don't know why you're asking me. I'm just a broadcaster. I don't fucking know. Yeah, he has passed him. 3.9 seconds to Kazar is his target. Kazar will be watching at least. Now he's 27 seconds to Ghost is Kazar. Looking at his times, he's in those low 201s. Ghost in the 202s, 203s. 15 laps remaining. It will only take a little mistake from Ghost, and there's a potential top 8 there for Tank Bro or Kazar.
Blue flags for Ghost. It's Mazda
Monkey
in the new
Man
fast lap
Macho
of the race. Look at that.
1:59.6. If we were in doubt as to whether his last fast lap was the fastest lap of the race, there is no doubt now, because that is the fastest lap of the race. There definitely hasn't been anything sub 1:59.7 until now. That's a phenomenal lap. But he's still got 2.2 seconds to catch Jakey. But Jakey's up the game a little bit in terms of pace as well. He's solidly in those mid 2 minutes. So Monkey Man's had to pull that 59.6 out of the bag just to try and close the gap a bit more.
Yeah, definitely.
But if that's what it takes to force these drivers to go quicker, as long as Tank Bro doesn't do a 58, I'm happy with that. So identities, only 6.9 seconds between him and Mazda. Mazda could still potentially catch him if he can find the pace. I think it's still a distinct possibility here. Valsalenta, I think now he's outside that top 3, and I think he's going to struggle to find his way back in there. But he is far enough ahead now of Jakey that it's only going to be an absolute epic proportional cock up that takes him out of 4th place. But this is the battle that's about to come to fruition. Monkey Man Macho chasing down Jakey again. These guys have been battling it out for pretty much most of this race, and we're about to find out if Monkey Man Macho can get the job done and make it stick this time, especially as they're now both running to the end of this race. Yeah, I bet he's a bit cranky following that spin.
We also have Tank Pro, 3.4 seconds behind Kazar.
How long could Jakey hold him at bay? Because he seems to have a bit better traction out of these corners down this end. But then Monkey gets closer and closer into the mountain, but he's not closing up enough. And the more laps they get under their belt and the closer they get to the end, the more desperate the charge for Monkey Man becomes, and the more likely it is that he makes a mistake in pushing.
That's true. And Jakey was also not lapping slowly here with 2 minutes.
Oh yeah, he's absolutely chucking that car around.
Like that. So,
Well, he knows it's the difference between top 5 or not top 5. He knows that he's not. He's very unlikely to catch Valsalenta unless something drastic happens. That his battle is only with Monkey Man Macho, and he has to get the job done, and he has to keep him at bay. It's obviously advantage Jakey. He's got track position, but he absolutely needs to ensure that through this section that he's absolutely clean and he keeps the biggest gap as possible for when he comes out onto Conrad, so that Monkey Man's not tucked right in there and getting the massive toe that and the advantage that brings with it up this long Conrad straight. And you see Monkey there not quite getting the traction on the exit that he would have liked which just gives Jakey that little bit of impetus. And allows him to stay ahead. And he has started to pick up the tone now, and he's starting to gain momentum, but again, not close enough. And this is how Jakey's going to have to operate for the last 10, 11 laps of this race, is to just keep that distance and manage that distance so he's just far enough away that he can't make the move at the end of that long straight. If he can, of course.
So that's actually the closest battle on track between Jakey and Macho.
It is, yeah. So we've only got Tank Bro and Kazar as the other one kind of coming up, but it is Monkey and Jakey. And they've had a lot of screen time, but they've been the ones that have been racing throughout. I wonder if Evo gets like really, really bored with nothing to do but just drive for 2 hours. Because he's not really racing anybody at this stage. Everybody else has already done all the racing for him. He just has to bring the car home.
Still has to stay focused, and there's cars on track. He has to get by safely.
Yeah, I suppose. And of course there is that kind of pressure on your shoulders that everybody else has done the hard work. You just need to make sure you bring it home now. So I suppose you've got that as well. And I suppose pushing for a faster lap at some stage and seeing how it goes. He is indeed a dog identity. But Evo into the pits. He's going for fastest lap, isn't he? There's no other reason that Evo would be pitting. He's got no damage. He is going for fastest lap.
Yeah, of course.
I just want to caveat that the 158 only counts if Tank Bro does it. It doesn't count if Evo gets it. I haven't checked the small print, but that's what I'm saying from now. It only counts if Tank Bro gets the 58. So next opportunity for Monkey Man Macho. Is this going to come up? They've got some traffic ahead actually. It is indeed a bold move, Cotton.
I don't know. This is just like he's so competitive, Evo, with those things. So he wants to have that fastest lap.
Very well looks like that's the case. Could throw. I don't know if he could throw it all the way. He would absolutely have to cock up so bad that no, I can't see. I think he's so far ahead. It's not really a risk even with the pit stop. He's 2.5 minutes clear. So it's not really that risky a move from his perspective. And, you know, if he makes 1 or 2 mistakes and then does have a little crash, he can bail out of it and still not have cost himself anything. And he even pit again to repair damage if he needs to. So, here's the big kicker. Here's Monkey Man Macho again doing that thing where he just toys with the person ahead for a little while. Maybe hoping for a mistake. Because he seems to get close and then not, and then close and then not. And, you know, you do have to consider that Jakey's doing a great job at staying ahead. But also, you look and you think, well, he's done a 1:59.6, so we know that he is super, super, super quick. Why is he not being able to get this job done? I suppose consistency is always going to be king, although he did get a much better exit than Jakey out of Forest Elbow then. This could be a really good opportunity. Again, I don't know if he's going to be close enough into the braking zone to make that lunge. But we know what happened last time. These guys were close by into this section. That was what put Monkey Man Macho so far back behind him. But he's right up in his business now. There's no way Jakey's going to be able to shake him off while he's this close. He can literally take the shopping out of his boot. He is that close to him. This may well be done and dusted before the back markers become a problem. Jakey got a much better exit out there, and that saved his bacon yet again. He's trying to worm his way into a recognition for driver of the stint is Jakey at the moment.
would be a tough one for me here. So with Identity, great pace, and again, Macho Monkey with the fastest lap, Evo with consistent
flawless performance,
lap times, top, and of course we have Tank Pro in that race.
Yeah, we've got to consider that as well. 2.6 seconds.
Driver
the
of
thing is he running out of time because he's been closing consistently on Kazar, but the closer he's been getting, the smaller the gains have been getting. And I'm concerned he's not going to get enough done. A penalty for Jakey now is going to be absolutely devastating.
Killing him.
Half second. Yeah, it's going to kill him. Particularly here on this straight. He's not even going to be able to tuck back in for some slipstream after serving it because Monkey will be gone. So their penalty being served. Through comes Monkey. Did Monkey? I wonder if Monkey didn't know and backed off a little bit. He's going to catch him, but it looked to me that he was holding back a little bit then, and then realised he'd serve a penalty and was like, "Shit, put your foot down."
Oh, that was my opportunity.
There we go. Job done.
And far from over, I would say.
It is far from over because Jakey, I think where it looked like Monkey got caught a bit by surprise by the penalty there, it's allowed Jakey just to stay involved. But then I do wonder what sort of tyre and fuel saving Monkey's doing that he wasn't right on top of him. I think Jakey, I don't think you can count him out at this stage, Slugsy. He's having an amazing drive. You know, we're talking about a guy, Monkey Man Macho, who qualified on the front row for this series, has consistently worked his way back into the top 3, top 4, pretty much every stint he's raced in.
Monkey and Jakey deep, and Jakey uses this opportunity.
Yeah. Jakey's bringing the pain to the Sector 7 driver. So I think you could argue that he is having an absolutely stonking drive, is Jakey at the moment. And he's putting a lot of pressure on Monkey, and he's going to force Monkey into an error if he keeps driving this way, because
nearly happened.
The frustration. We saw it already that he span at the hotel section, and we can see here he's got a great run on him, and this is where the back markers come into play as well.
This looks so sketchy. I'm running with Macho Monkey at the moment, and he's too close to the walls, or he's sliding everywhere. I think he's pushing too hard now.
He is indeed. What lap is Evo on? We'll have a look in a minute. I think it's lap 57, 55.
55, maybe. Yeah.
So again, not quite as good an exit. Now, I think that's where Jakey has managed to stay ahead for so long, is he seems to have that slightly better exit on the two real key corners at Forest Elbow and at turn 1, which just give him that little bit of burst before Monkey can get tucked in and use that slipstream. That's Tank Pro ahead, isn't it, in the Apex Hunter car, just ahead of Jakey by the looks of things. No, it's not. That's it's an MRL.
No, that's MRL.
Yeah.
But Tank Pro just 2 seconds behind Kaza now.
He moves over, and that lets these two through to continue to race. It is an awesome performance from Jake throughout. Let's have a quick look at Evo before we come back to this. So Evo 59.8 on the board. He is up a little bit on that time at the moment. Not enough to beat the 59.6 that Monkey Man Macho puts on, but he has decided it's time. It is time for fastest lap for him. If he can catch that car in front, he can use some slipstream there to maybe, just maybe, give him that extra little boost that he needs. The wind is not favourable to a super hot lap at the moment, and he is actually down in the final sector. So unless he can find about 3/10 in a couple of corners, it's unlikely to happen this lap. but he's on lap 56 of the 60. So moving on to lap 57 now. Identity 8.3 ahead of Mazda. Enough tyre and fuel to take him to the end of this race. Mazda very, very comfortably now in third. Doesn't have to worry about Valsalenta in any way, shape or form. It's 46 seconds is the gap now to the Overboost Racing Team driver, who you've got to feel a little bit sorry for. He's the first time ORT have been out of that top three all day.
Ghost went off. JK is off. Nearly off. Heading into the final turn. Side by side they go. JK and Monkey. A little bit of tap.
Jakey's still holding on. He's still got the inside line. He just seems to every corner. He just seems to have the edge over Monkey Man Macho.
Oh, the big attempt to go for a dive. Jakey didn't fall for this.
Absolutely.
Now covers the inside. Let's go.
Another run up the hill for Monkey Man Macho. He pulls out the slipstream side by side again. Jakey lets him have the outside. How long can he hold on around the outside?
No. Jakey with the run again.
Do you remember the last time we saw two cars side by side coming up here? What happened?
Backing out. No one. There's a crash.
Well, yeah, nobody
But
backs
no
out
damage.
there. It was
No damage.
that
Jakey
was,
not happy with that flashing. Of course.
He's not, is he? Credit to them though. They got through without any damage. That was phenomenal.
Yeah.
Absolutely phenomenal. The last time we saw two cars side by side there was when Nick picked up a big chunk of damage on the first stint. So yeah, anywhere side by side through the mountain is crazy. But 5 laps remain. You've got to try and go for it now.
And if Jakey stays close to, there will be another send into the next braking zone. Trust me.
Yeah, well, he seems to have the edge on the exits out of those two big corners, and you can see he's closing, but not quite enough, I don't think, this time anyway. A bit far back to be thinking about a dive up the inside. Maybe if this was daily racing, you might have a go, but certainly not.
P8, P9 is 7 seconds between Ghost and Kaza at the moment.
So Kaza is closing
Tank
on
Pro
Ghost, but not quick
1.5.
enough.
Yeah.
And, Tank Pro 1.5. So that's going to be a battle there. That's going to need some attention soon. Is Tank Pro's charge getting himself solidly both feet into the top 10.
Monkey ran a bit wide on the exit of turn 1. This gives Jakey the run.
Excuse me. So Tank Pro last lap.
Jakey with no, not just faking it.
Still going on. So Kazar 2011. Tank Bro a 2:08.873. He is slowly catching, but is it going to be enough?
When Jakey hit the wall and collected some damage, unfortunately.
We'll have a little look at that, get the replay going.
He's saying goodbye to Monkey now. A friendly flash. Unfortunate end for Jakey's drive. The
that's it.
6.7 behind. But
That was it's still not over though. I still think there's a potential fight here.
I'm not sure if he can keep up with that damage.
Yeah, that is going to be a bit of a problem. Who knows?
Tank Pro is past Kaza. Kaza has damage.
Well, that would explain it. He was 1.5 behind, so he caught him very quickly. So there we go. So that's the big overtakes we were waiting for. The Tank Pro on Kazar up into 9th. Monkey Man Macho and Jakey. That battle now, I think, has run its course, and Monkey Man Macho
It's
is in
penultimate
5th.
lap, and Evo, see. 661.
He's done it. Evo has done
He's
it.
done it.
159.661. And if I was Monkey Man Macho, I'd be absolutely apoplectic now. He would be getting called all the C's and the F's under the sun for nicking that pretty much at the death. But there we go. That was some lap from Evo. I'm going to have to dig that out of the replay and do a masterclass at Bathurst. AHR Tank Pro is there in ninth, just taking over Kazardine to get him up into, or Kazar to get him up into ninth position. Fubar and Bite the Roses, it was 18-19 seconds. But Fubar now, he's got a bit of damage, so he's probably not going to be able to do anything about it. But with Roses carrying a 1 second penalty and the gap down to 12 seconds, who knows? Maybe Roses will make a mistake, and then that allows Fubar back in. But good solid performance. But bearing in mind that Black Flag came into this with basically a week's notice, if that, and it wasn't until probably Wednesday we even knew who was driving where. So
Evo started the final lap now.
I think we have to
final
go
lap
on
of
board.
the race.
We have to go
So
on board with
everyone
Evo for the final
Crosses
lap.
the line now. We'll see the checkered flag. PD logic.
Yeah, no,
at some
PD logic.
point. No, Evo will finish the race. It's not a timed race. Sorry for that. I was bashing on PD too early.
Still bashing on them anyway. They're still wankers.
Still, yeah, but it's still the last lap of this 12 hour of Bathurst now, and yeah, we should run with Evo, I think, for this one.
Absolutely on board with Evo for the final lap.
Keep you updated on the other gaps between Macho Monkey and Shaky, 1.8 seconds. That should be settled. Ghost in P8 still has 4.7 seconds to Tank Pro. Kaza in P10, 24 seconds down with that damage. Roses has 9 seconds over Fubar. And the battle of MRL is decided with Daz in that Mustang having 1 minute and 30 seconds over Welshie in the McLaren.
Coming to the end of the Conrod now for Evo, nearly over. This will be 360 laps we've got through today. 12 hours, 360 laps, and countless tins of paint absolutely smashed into the walls of the mountain here at Bathurst today. Litres and litres of the stuff. We've seen thrills and spills and overtakes and crashes, but ultimately Evo again showing his dominance for ERA, takes the win comfortably in the end. At one stage it didn't look like it was going to be quite as comfortable as it turned out. Driver of the day, I think, has to go for certainly for this stint. I think has to go to Identity, getting himself not only into the top 3, but actually to get himself ahead of Mazda into P2. It's a good finish from him. Special mention obviously to Mazda for getting into that top 3, although there's likely to be a steward's inquiry for the beginning of the race, so we don't know how that's going to end. I really feel for this guy. I really feel for Valsalenta. ORT for me have been the team of the day. They've been the team that pretty much, other than in this final stint, which hasn't gone all of their way, they've been the team that have been dominant throughout. There hasn't been a stint today where they haven't shown some level of absolute brilliance, other than this final stint where it basically became the Evo show. So they for me, I think, are the team of the day. They utilised all of the mistakes the other teams made early on to get themselves into a really good position and clang's not even a word, is it? Clung onto it for as long as they could.
You got what you asked for. I mean, sorry for JeGr and your team.
So that's Valsalenta in 4th, Monkey in 5th. Did hold on from Jakey, then Jakey 3 seconds back after getting that damage. Harlex, he will cross the line and finish in 7th. Ghost in 8th, Tank Bro in 9th, Kaza Kazar finishes in 10th. Bite the Roses finishes in 11th. It was 12th for Fubar, and then the two MRL guys bringing up the rear of the pack. And we are finished.
And I think I saw Evo joining our chat. Is that correct? You are free to talk.
Is he here?
Hello.
Evo!
Yeah.
Is there anything that slows you down, mate? Seriously, poor Monkey Man Macho. He couldn't get back into the top three. He'd got himself a nice chunky fastest lap of the race, and you thought, "Fuck it, I'm going to go put on some softs now."
You did the Max Verstappen, yeah. Come on.
Yeah, I really wanted that. All race long I was kind of chasing it, and in my first stint I kind of chose to be a little bit more cautious, protecting the lead, and so I wasn't as close to it as I'd wanted to be. And then coming into the final stint we had a much bigger gap, so we just decided to go balls to the walls and give it a shot, and yeah, just picked it at the end. So yeah, really happy with that. But sorry to Monkey Man, because there was a crazy lap. We saw it and we were like, wow, that's not getting beat. But yeah, luckily with the gap we had, we came in for the pits and managed to snatch it.
It's been a strange race in some ways, hasn't it? Because in stint one, all of the big boys, other than Overboost, had some sort of problem, some sort of crash, and you saw the people you were expecting to run away with it in the early stages having to fight their way back.
Yeah, it was, and I mean, we found ourselves in a difficult position. We obviously wanted to be on pole after quali, but we didn't quite maximise that. So we were just quite happy to bide our way through the first stint. We kind of knew what our pace was like, and we knew where we thought we'd end up, and it was more a case of letting the race come to us. But yeah, a lot of things happened at the start, and it put a lot of people out of position. I know the syndicate team got put back, a couple of the Mercedes got put back, and I think at one point we were down in 13th or something. It was great to watch everyone come through the pack, and it was great to also watch Nick as well do his typical bin it and have to chuck it into sixth gear to bring it all the way back. But yeah, another awesome race, and it was a lot of really close racing.
Yeah, I think today has been probably one of the closest I think we've seen of the you would expect going into the final stint of a 12-hour race for there to be huge gaps, but we haven't had that. I don't think there's been a stint where there hasn't been some on-track action with people actually fighting out, and I think that's been absolutely testament to the quality of the driving today.
Yeah, and I mean, coming up to the last stint, for P2, there were 3 cars all in contention of getting that second spot on the podium, and I know there was lots of other pockets of drivers who were really, really close together and battling for positions in that last stint, which is great. And to do that at a track like this, which is probably undoubtedly the hardest track on the calendar, with such a high rate of attrition, and for people to still be so close to each other, amazing.
Well, at the end of stint one, there were only 2 teams that hadn't crashed, and one of those got disconnected halfway through. That's how bad it's been for damage today. Every team has had massive crashes. I think we've only seen 1 engine damage, and he went on to finish second in that lobby, which is insane. Everybody has had a massive setback. So yeah, the fact that you've managed to get through it's been awesome. But thank you so much, guys. It's been wicked.
Unforgiving was the term that Nick used for this track.
Yes, very, very. Evo, thank you for the show. JeGr, thank you as always for being my brother in arms. It's been highly emotional. We've got to talk about many things, including penises today, for some very strange reason. Maybe we'll move on to the female anatomy next time. That's it. We're done. We will be back. Where are we next? I've forgotten. Can anyone remind me? Let's have a look.
Watkins Glen, I believe.
Oh,
On a
the
racetrack.
Glen. A nice bit of the Glen. Notoriously difficult to overtake. Notoriously quick. Love it. I love a bit of the Glen. So, yeah, we'll be back for the Glen in about a month's time for round number 4. But it's goodbye from me. It's goodbye from Evo.
Goodbye from me as well. Jaeger.
There we go. Thank you, guys. It's
around.
been emotional.
Cheers, guys, for the comms today. Awesome job. And yeah, thank you very much for the hosting and race directing as well, guys. Appreciate it.
Fun event. Yep.
Right, I got in at silly o'clock this morning from a rave, so I'm gonna go to bed because I'm exhausted. Yeah, I did it for Daytona as well. I came back at what was it? I think I got back home at about 10 p.m. from like a day rave. For about an hour, woke up for my second stint, did that, and then straight after that, I went out with my family for St. Patrick's Day all day. I was shattered, absolutely shattered. Luckily, it wasn't too bad this time. I did get a bit more sleep this morning, but yeah.
Still sounds like